listeners. After a 2-week hiatus, welcome back to Lost in Postulation. I am Neil Fitzpatrick, and I am joined by, for the first time in recorded history on this podcast, a father. I'm joined by a guy who has a son. It's Nicola Volpe.
Well, here I am, wiping the rust off, wiping the pee off, because I'm routinely getting peed on now while changing diapers, and it's just part of the gig.
Bodily fluids of all kind.
All kind, I can confirm. And yes. There's been an evolution over 2 weeks as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. And I'm sure it will continue to evolve. I'm sure existing parents are listening now, nodding sagely, just laughing at what's to come, probably.
And some, humble bragging and patting on the back from myself.
Fantastic.
Not about my kid, but about me.
Yeah.
I'm getting the diaper change down to under 30 seconds.
It's like a Formula One pit stop at this point.
It really is. And I was actually thinking about writing the IOC, votre ami de l'IOC, to include it, diaper changing, in the Olympics, because it has everything. High pressure. Yep. You have a kid crying at you, threatening to keep peeing on you, right in front of you. Yeah. You need technique. That diaper needs to stay on. And speed. You bring all of these things together. I think we got an Olympic sport on our hands. Would you classify it into singles and doubles? Because I think both events have... Doubles, okay. Yeah. Like with two parents hands-on, it's like, okay, who's doing what? Right. You've got someone doing a team and a singles event. Yeah, like singles and doubles in tennis. I think as we grow the sport, that's definitely an avenue to pursue. I think also what we need to do is we need to differentiate between those changing a little boy's diaper from a little girl's, because the little boy can get very creative in terms of his rebelliousness. Yeah, 100%. As I found. I can only imagine. Yeah. Well, wow. There you go. That's my first nugget of wisdom as a new parent. More to come. Collective groan from the audience. Absolutely. More to come. I think bring it on. Yeah, absolutely. It's a brave new world. Here we are, podcasting yet again. And listeners, we love to hear from you. We've kept hearing from you. Keep coming in. lostinpostulation@gmail.com. Instagram @lostinpostulation. We do have an X account. I need to get back to checking that. That's @inpostulation. Our friend Elon might kick us off soon, though, so who knows? If you listen to the podcast, we'd already be gone. So probably, right? Yeah. Just for not towing the party line. We tell it how it is. We are rebellious podcasters, if not else. Rebellious podcasters, exactly. Still no endorsement from the Saudi PIF. We're keeping it that way, I think, for now. Yeah, for now. Yep. Exactly. I said, no, we do this for you guys. Exactly. And since we do it for you guys, as you know, we already have 2 podcasts under the label. This is the flagship, Lost in Postulation. We have Hosman FC for the football soccer nerds. And now we are looking to expand in other directions. I think we are. I think we've talked about it. And what we've realized is we've learned a lot over this almost a year now of podcasting. Not only in terms of audio quality, and I'm sure listeners would agree if they listen back to the early episodes versus now, we've sharpened the saw. We've learned a thing or two. New listeners, don't start with episode 1. Yeah, well, I mean, there's great content. It's just the quality is what it is. But what we've also realized is we have a passion for it. We enjoy it a lot, and we would like, and we think we would all benefit from working with more podcasters. Share the wealth, share the knowledge in both directions, and learn a bit from each other, and help each other to grow. First and foremost, like we. If we love podcasting and we're enjoying it so much, there's a very high chance that anyone else who's doing it feels the same way. So I think that was the thought for today was, if you're somebody who has a podcast, maybe an early stage podcast, a bit like ours, or if you don't even have a podcast, but you have the idea for a podcast and you're thinking, I've always wanted to do my 5-hour deep dive on the board game industry. I'm picking the first thing that comes to mind, but hey, that sounds like a fun podcast. Neil will join you for that one. I'll sit in on a few episodes for sure. But just let us know. We'd love to hear from you through the usual channels we just mentioned. We can work with you on how to get set up, get it started, and also see what we could do together. Yeah, grow as one. Absolutely. Yeah, listeners, write that in, lostinpostulation@gmail.com as your initial, solicitation. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. And now let's postulate, Neil. Let's bring it on. So I believe, Nicola, you have brought a mundane. I've brought a mundane. And it wasn't just the diaper changing to the Olympics. Neil, you've recently lent me this wonderful book, which I'm showing to those watching us on video now, which is called Okay, Let's Do Your Stupid Idea by Irishman Patrick Frayne. I'm almost finished with it. I've really enjoyed it. Good. I think it's very David Sedaris-y vibe. So you really hit the nail on the head in terms of what I like to read.
Good.
Collection of short stories, bit memoirish, but funny. You're laughing out loud type of funny.
Totally.
The title already says it all. Your copy of the book, and I've been, paging through it, and now I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. It's not necessarily a quiz, but do you see what this is?
It looks like a bookmark?
Yes, a bookmark, Neil. A bookmark.
Did I leave that in?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay, good.
And I'll tell you why you didn't. Because there are creases every 10 pages in this book from someone who has been dog-earing the book, and I will not stand for it.
Let me explain. I see where you're coming from, and I am guilty of dog-earing.
I knew it.
The only mitigation I can offer is I'm not the first reader of this book, right? This has been given to me also.
So that's why it's like every other page.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought you might have drawn the conclusion falsely, not correctly, that I'm a 10-page at a time reader, and I would like to set the record straight that I'm not a 10-page at a time reader.
But you read those 10 pages deep, if you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm rereading sentences, I'm taking notes, definitions, dictionaries, you name it, if I was ever to do that. But no, I'm not if social media has not so crippled my attention span that I'm resorting to 10 pages at maximum, I am making progress.
The print is also pretty big on this one.
You fly through it, that is true. Yeah, it's an easy read. It's not quite The Hobbit, you don't have like a 40-page intro describing the various dwarves that are visiting. In this case, no. So I think I'm glad you asked, because I got a chance to set the record straight once and for all.
Right.
However, I will admit I am a dog-earer.
You are a dog-earer.
Yeah, because I'm just like, who cares? Like, it's paper.
Cares? Okay, it's paper.
Yeah. And it works. It's a great
trees.
It's a great system. I'm not destroying the book. I'm just slightly folding a page down. And especially with a paperback, like that's something that, I mean, this is a book made to be thrown in a bag, brought on the holiday, whatever. It's not this particular book is not like, the Shakespeare Complete Works hardback tome. And I would probably
You'd
hold back.
dog-ear that too. I mean,
no. There I would hold back.
Would you not dog-ear a hardback, but you do a paperback?
There are certain books that I wouldn't. I read a book called Lincoln in the Bardo, hardback, that had such, I think it was by George Saunders, and it has such majesty. It had such
an aura,
gravitas, the book, just also it being a hardback, it had a kind of a heft to it that I thought that I would be disrespecting it if I was to dog-ear it. So okay. I'm totally with you. It's just that, come on, like when it's this, I mean, would you dog-ear a magazine, for example? If you wanted to come back to a page in a magazine?
No, magazine I'd leave folded open.
Okay, also, but then you only get one shot. What if you wanted to dog-ear multiple
Post-its?
You're just resisting at all costs here.
It's my grandfather, when my mom was little, told her off for dog-earing books, and then that was passed down, and it's unacceptable in our house to dog-ear books. I'm probably going to pass it down to my son now.
I can imagine. Okay, what I will go, I'll meet you halfway here, and I'll say there are some scenarios where dog-earing is not acceptable. Number one is when it's a borrowed book, I would say.
Which you borrowed this book, didn't you? Original?
Oh, okay. My mom actually gave it to me, and I was like,
so your mom is the original dog-earer.
Yeah, and she's guilty of dog-earing. See, this is where I get it from.
Everything runs in families. I think that's conclusion number one here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would say if it's your own book or like one that you've been given and you're just like, work away, then it's dog-ear time. If it's a paperback, it's dog-ear time. And then I will also put in some exceptions there. So if it's somebody else's, if it's a hardback, if it's like a historical book. We had actually an early printing of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone signed by J.K. Rowling. Okay. And that is also one for, Amazon/eBay reasons. I would, probably not dog-ear that one. Keep
collector's item.
Yeah. Don't know where that one ended up actually. It's somewhere in our house at home in Ireland.
Philosopher's Stone. In the US, that was called the Sorcerer's Stone. I think.
Unfortunately, we all know exactly why. And it's like, there's no getting around it. Like it was because you guys don't know what a philosopher is, or at least I think that's what the publishers were doing. They were like,
is that what it was actually?
Yeah. I mean, philosopher is a very hard word if you've never finished high school or whatever.
I would think more people know what a philosopher is rather than a sorcerer this day and age.
I think it was.
But maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was a mistake. I'm with you. I think they should have kept it consistent, because in the book it's called the Philosopher's Stone. Like as you read it, it's not like they Control F the word philosopher and changed it. Yeah. It's just the title of the book.
Okay.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. But then all the movies and everything, they stuck with philosophers. And
did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Ooh, shit. Maybe I shouldn't.
It's too bad we can't get JK on the podcast because she'd dub us as too woke.
Yeah. She is famously difficult to pin down now for podcasts. Yeah. But
only certain types of podcasts.
Not ours.
No.
Hopefully. If she ever comes on, we're doing something wrong. Sorry to say.
Definitely not. But do you buy, just on the topic, because I'm very intrigued by your reading habits here. Mm-hmm. Do you buy hardcovers? If you have both side by side and say the same price at the airport bookshop?
Oh yeah, almost never. Yeah, because
I never buy hardcovers. I'm paperbacks all the time.
I've had some terrible experience with hardbacks. You know, if the little flappy foldy thing on the outside, as you're reading it, that thing goes all over the place. It gets really, I hate that. Yeah. Some people use that as the bookmark as well, the little foldy exterior part. Yeah. So no, if I had a choice, I would go softback all the way. And these days, it's Kindle all the way.
You're a Kindle guy. That's true. Yeah. I forgot that. I've never managed. I read maybe, I don't know, 25 to 30 books a year, all paperback, and I've never managed to gravitate towards the Kindle.
Yeah. The reason I think it's such a game changer for me is I need to minimize the gap between I'm ready to read now and reading, because that's a fleeting moment, you know?
Yeah.
Like last weekend, I had a few hours free and I was like, actually, there's this book I want to read. And I then realized myself, I was like, damn, I better get this book now in the next 10 minutes or else I will lose the interest, and I'm hardly going to bring myself out and get it. So I did, and then I read it for a good while. So I guess that's the moral of the story. Strike while the iron is hot, so to speak.
Very nice. And for the traveling, because what I find is sometimes we'll travel maybe, I don't know, when it's like a long trip, 3-4 weeks, and I'll have, 4 thick books in the suitcase, which then means you can't take other stuff because you got weight limits. So,
no souvenirs.
Yeah, I could see definitely the benefit of that Kindle. I read it, but my thing is I read everything else electronically. Everything else.
Maybe it's good for
so
a break.
that's kind of my only screen eye break.
You're hardly alone. I think there's a decent subset of readers still today who are sworn off the Kindle for life. They're just I'm never getting an e-reader. Yeah.
Well, there you go. As a parting shot of this small segment. Will you or will you not dog ear the book that I lent you?
I haven't. So that one I have used a loyalty card from Hiko Sandwich to
bringing it back to our sponsor, Hiko 100%. Sandwich across the street.
Yeah, because I'm showing respect. As we often say, it's all about showing respect. It's not my book. I can't deface it. I can't vandalize it. So you'll be getting that one back with pristine pages all the way through.
And Hiko appreciates that too.
100%. Yeah. Then I'll start using it as an actual loyalty card. So
yeah. You're still going there often, huh?
I'd say once a week.
Okay.
Oof, yeah.
Well, for listeners that don't know, we've had mundane discussions about the power and the acceptability of the sandwich. Neil and I land on opposite sides of that, and eventually we will be recording some sort of episode from Hiko Sandwich.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be a new challenge for me from an audio quality perspective, but I'm willing to embrace that challenge.
We might need to compromise on a few things. Neil, on that note, for those of us watching via video, you can continue to listen to the rest of the podcast in audio form on a podcast app of your choice. And for the others, we'll be right back after the break.